This is the time of year where my three co-hosts here, they really shine. They have amazing baseball minds. I think I know enough. These three make me sound like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about anything baseball. And I've watched baseball for a long time. That's how great these three are. So as we're getting ready to watch this, the wild card round begins tomorrow afternoon. I think it's 2:32 Eastern time for the first playoff game. We're gonna go through the four playoff series, and looks like Atlanta is 3 outs away from clinching their playoff spot. Who would they be facing if they
could
win?
happen right now, though.
No, I ain't say it's over. I ain't say it's over. I ain't said from what we saw from the first game.
Yeah,
Not gonna happen. But let's just if okay. Here's the question: if the Mets somehow come back and win, who do the D-backs play? Or if the Braves hold it down, who do they play?
So if the score, go ahead. Yeah. So if the score holds right now, then the Braves will be going to San Diego, and the Mets will be going to Milwaukee. If the Mets were to win, then it's reverse. Mets going to San Diego, D-backs going to Milwaukee. If we'll just go with it that this score holds at 3-0, it looked like the Mets just want to get out of there healthy. Not Joey Lucchesi gave them 6 great innings. Only really gave up 1 run. Grant Holmes came in, against the B squad lineup, but 7 Ks, 1 hit, 6 innings for the Braves. So what we would be looking at right now is the Mets playing tomorrow in Milwaukee. Mind you, they did just finish a 3-game series with them this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, in which the Brewers took 2 of 3 from them. On the season, the Brewers are 5-1 against the Mets this year. And then the Padres are 4-3 against the Braves. So both teams who have had, the rest since Sunday evening do have the upper hand. They will be playing on 1 day of rest. They get to sleep in their beds. And, the Braves and the Mets are both coming off of playing a doubleheader today. And, one in which, Edwin Diaz he pitched yesterday and kind of what was not a meaningless game because you needed that win, but he pitched in a 5-0 Mets win. Then he went and pitched the 8th and the 9th today. You pretty much got to say he's down for tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting. And the Padres right now have actually released their wild card rotation. Okay. So they will be going with Michael King to start game 1, Joe Musgrave for game 2, and Dylan Cease, if necessary, for game 3. And this first round is best out of 3, right?
Best out of 3. You want to say major breaking news? Baseball legend Pete Rose just died. Pete Rose just died.
Oh shit!
At 83 years old. TMZ just tweeted it out.
And the Diamondbacks are out.
The Braves just won.
So there's a deep drive by Castellanos to left field.
Yeah.
That was a deep drive by Castellanos. Oh man. First of all, RIP Pete Rose. Say what you want to say about the gambling. That dude was a legend, one of the greatest baseball players to ever play. So definitely much love and respect out to his family. I know this kind of put a bomb on in any Pete Rose. So I don't want to just move on like, nigga down, go on baseball. Any Pete Rose thoughts before we move on?
I met Pete Rose in Vegas at an autograph signing. He was, I think, maybe a little sauced. I don't know if the man was sober. I don't know if that was a thing or not, but I think he was a little lit. A character. He was a character. I'm not speaking negatively. The man was an absolute character. And we had a funny little exchange while he signed a picture, and it's up there somewhere. But RIP. Seemed like a nice guy. Just I guess when you live that long and you've seen and done so much, I know people say that like older people don't give a fuck, but like he kind of epitomized for me as far as like former players that I've met in my life as somebody who just truly didn't give a fuck. You got to respect that.
Yeah, he reminded me of that old guard, the old guard of baseball. Where you envision players smoking a heater in the dugout, drinking beers in between games, kind of being up all night. Obviously, we know about the gambling. But we'll just keep it just the on-field. He was a machine. He was a hell of a hitter, a hell of a baseball player, hell of a hitter. I personally felt they should have let him into the Hall of Fame. And I always hate when players past before kind of getting that honor. I know that baseball is the one sport where, you know, the commissioners kind of uphold what previous commissioners before them put into legislation, and they're very old guard. But yeah, you know, rest in peace to him. You know, he lived a hell of a life, you know, and if anybody hasn't seen it, check out the documentary on HBO. He was, you know, one delusional motherfucker. He was crazy. He was, you know, he was straight up like he was a crazy motherfucker. So rest in peace to him. You know.
Yeah, no, like you said, pathological liar, a lot of things. But I mean, in terms of playing baseball, he was amazing. I thought it was hilarious in that documentary how much Johnny Bench really does not like that man.
Yeah.
Like, at all. Like he does not like that man. But a loss for the baseball community. I agree. It sucks that he didn't get reinstated to be, you know, eligible for the Hall of Fame. But at the same time, the Reds have honored him. The Phillies have honored him. I think he's in both teams Hall of Fame and Ring of Honor, whatever they have. But at the end of the day, you know, you can't talk about the Cincinnati Reds and not think of Pete Rose. That's just when you are that good at what you do, your legacy is cemented with the people. So, you know, like I said, a complicated figure at the end of the day, but at the same time, one of the greatest to ever do it. And so he'll definitely be missed in that regard.
I think very well said by you three. Very, very, very well said. I'd say RP Pete Rose. That's really all I got. As I'm watching the field right now,
I didn't want to say nothing. I didn't want to be insensitive, you know.
No, this thing about insensitive.
Why are these boys about to party?
No. Okay.
No, well, hold on. Major League Baseball mandated that neither team, that no team, regardless who won game 1 or who won game 2, the winner of that game, they were not allowed to celebrate. In between that game, they weren't allowed to kind of go through whatever. And I think each team, you play 162 of these things. It literally came down to game 162. They deserve the right to party, but they better hurry the fuck up because
brother, the Braves gotta be in San Diego ready to play tomorrow. You do that shit on the plane.
But no, trust me, that plane.
1986 Mets.
That plane is gonna be a continuation.
That plane is already. That plane already gassed up, stocked, and ready to go. We made sure that this morning. So that plane is ready to rock.
You don't need to do this shit in the clubhouse. Get on the plane.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna do more just throwing a couple beers around. They're not gonna sit there and get slapped because they do got a game. They gotta get to their
right. I throw a couple beers, roll one up right quick, and you know, and both teams got ahead. You know, the Mets could have left their shit in the hotel in Milwaukee that they just left last night.
Well, the Mets got the paper out. They got the plastic out. So they finna get out. They got the plastic out. There's a couple things that said. First of all, one, Courtney, to me, this thing about when people die, we ain't got a lot because the person died. That's why I'm glad y'all kept the G. Like, they one shit. Like,
also, just to be clear, I googled it because I didn't want us to get sued. Pete Rose was not sober, so yeah, he was definitely sloshed when I met that man.
He was sloshed. Okay, yeah. I mean, like if people die, we still keep it a bean. Like like they really wasn't shit. Like, but anyway, but that was funny to me. I've never seen 2 parties going at one time after a game. Like,
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
We're going this locker room. You're going here. So all 4 series are set. The Orioles will be hosting the Kansas City Royals. The Astros will be hosting the cardiac Detroit Tigers. Very happy. Very, very happy for Jason Benetti. The Brewers will be hosting the New York Mets. And the Padres will be hosting the Atlanta Braves. Let's start with the first series. We've got the Orioles and the Royals. The Royals had a really, really good season. They were leading that whole wild card chase really for almost the entire season, being the second team, in their division really going well. They went 86-76 to win. The Orioles came in second in the AL East. They went 91-71. So they'll be hosting this series. Courtney, I'm gonna go to you first. Who do you got in this series and why?
I mean, this is still one of those series that I feel like I change my answer every time I go back and look at it. I want to say it's the Orioles haven't been particularly hot as of late. And y'all know I have been saying from the beginning of the season that the Royals were my sleeper team and that if they got the opportunity to get in this position, that's a scary team to see in a possible best of 3 series. Or not a best of 3, excuse me, best of 5, but winner take 3. That's a scary, scary rotation to see. Man, Give me the Royals. Give me the Royals. Give me the Royals this year. It's 2015, baby.
Courtney.
I'm sorry.
Let me break something down to you. When you have teams from the AL Central, you know, we have this benefit of called beating up on shitty teams. And the Kansas City Royals were 12-1 against the White Sox this year. And that pretty much bolstered their record. Like, I don't want to take anything away from them because they are a very good young team. But I think it's one of those situations where it's a young team that's just not ready to take that next step yet. And they're coming up against a team in Baltimore that is ready to take that step.
Yo,
so
we got breaking news, y'all.
Oh, what up?
We got breaking news considering that we talking about baseball. According to TMZ, MLB legend Pete Rose.
Bang, G. Oh my fucking God.
You just you just did what you do in the group chat.
We are not laughing because Pete Rose is dead.
Bang just came with the Facebook link in real time.
No, I just felt kind of jealous because I was listening to y'all. And I just want
really
to
weren't listening too well because we had a whole 10-minute.
No, I was listening. Oh my God. But I just wanted to jump in a bit and do what I normally do because I'm feel jealous about how y'all talking about baseball. And I'm not a part of it.
You could be a part of this conversation, bro.
That's the only time I could ever be a part of this shit. So I just want to do this shit to make everybody laugh, but send my condolences to Pete Rose because I'm not going to be able to do it on this episode. So back to y'all.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Go ahead, Dante. Go ahead.
But no, I just think right now that Baltimore team still very young, but I think they're ready to make that next step. And I think this is the statement. This is a way to make that statement, you know, stump on another young team. Like, hey, you know, we see y'all doing what we did, but right now we're going to show you that it is really our time to take that next step. So
who pitches game 2 for them?
Hold on. I just
Baltimore.
Mikey, you got it.
No, they haven't released it yet. It's going to be Corbin Burns. I think they would try
game 1, right? Against Scuba.
Right. Yeah. No. No, Scuba is with the Astros.
Oh yeah. You're right.
It's gonna be Cole Ragans versus Corbin Burns in game 1. Game 2, the Royals will be throwing out Seth Lugo. The Orioles haven't announced who they're gonna throw out yet. I think they would really like to win game 2 without having to throw Zach Eflin. Because if they do that, then you set up your lineup where game 1 of the next round will be Eflin game 1, and you go right back to Burns game 2. You know, and I don't want to. I know you've been busy at work, Courtney. I don't want to bring you down a little bit, but the Orioles were 7-3 their last 10, and they finished the last week 5-1, taking 2 from the Yankees, beating up on the Twins. So they are, and the bats were hot. They were putting up about 8 runs a game. So
how's Sadly looking?
I have no idea. All I know is Ryan O'Hearn has been popping up on my phone every other day, hitting 2-run home runs. And Anthony Santander is a beast. But I'm gonna ride with the Orioles on this one. I think the Royals, great season. Bobby Witt Jr. has carried them. Salvi Perez. We've seen what they've been able to do offensively. But I just think that their pitching doesn't line up in a short series versus this hot of a Baltimore Orioles team right now. I think Baltimore is exactly where they wanted to be after last year. If we're being frank, the Baltimore Orioles pissed down their leg last year against the Rangers. They had opportunities to win that series, and they did not. And that was their inexperience. That was their youth. There were some costly mistakes. Gunnar Henderson running, trying to steal second base when they didn't need him to steal second base, and being that out against the Rangers there. I think this year they're exactly where they want to be. I think they will go ahead and take on this young Royals team. I don't think it'll necessarily be easy, but I do think that they end up beating the Royals, and then we'll see what they're made of going further. I don't like them advancing past this first round because they just do not have the pitching. Obviously, Grayson Rodriguez with the lat injury being out dampers that rotation. They traded Kyle Stowers and Connor Norby for Trevor Rogers, and Rogers was immediately sent down after 3 starts because it just wasn't working. They don't have a back-end closer. They DFA'd Craig Kimball last week before the end of the season after another blown save. I just don't like how their pitching lines up in what would be 7-game series. But I will take the Orioles in this first round.
Shout out. We got 1,000 people in the chat right now. Shout out to everybody in the chat watching for the baseball preview. I obviously missed a joke according to the chat.
So, yeah, Bang came in here on some Bang.
Bang came from the top rope.
I was jealous of them talking their baseball, and I wasn't going to be able to be involved in how y'all had the Pete Rose conversation without me. At least I could talk about Pete Rose. Like, God damn.
But he thought he was breaking news.
No, I knew I wasn't breaking news, though. I knew I wasn't breaking news. I'm like, damn, somebody could have texted me. It was like, though,
Hey, I saw.
Come join.
Real time,
come join the Pete Rose conversation. You at least know him.
Yeah, that's my bad. I didn't look down at the screen. I thought you wasn't even
like, man. Who can at least join that one? You just watched the documentary, didn't you?
Man, let's go to the second AL series going on in the wild card. That is the Houston Astros. These niggas have done it again. They have won the wild card appearance once again. They are, going to be taking on the Detroit Tigers, who just a month ago didn't look like they were going to make the playoffs. They went on an incredible run. Tariq Skubal won the pitching Triple Crown. He's been dominant. Everybody in Detroit's having a good time. Our guy, friend of the program, Chuck English, said on the show that he thought that the Tigers were going to make the playoffs, and they ended up making the playoffs here. Mikey, I'm going to go to you first. What do you think about this series? Do you think that the veteran experience of the Astros is going to be enough to win this series, or do you like Detroit?
Honestly, I do like the Tigers just because of the advantage of throwing Skubal game one. There's just something about the way AJ Hinch manages a team, particularly this young team that doesn't have overwhelming star power. This isn't the AJ Hinch run team with Altuve, Bregman, those guys back in the day. This is, with what was my man's name? Michael Brantley. This is a team being led by Riley Green, Matt Vierling, Spencer Torkelson, who they sent down to the minors.
Baby.
ASU, the former number 1 overall pick, who they sent down to the minors for legitimately 3/4 of the season, and called him back up. We don't have Javi Baez manning shortstop right now. Parker Meadows has come up and played great. Ibanez is hitting. They're just finding a way. They have since August 1st the best overall team pitching ERA, 2.81 ERA to lead the majors. And I just think it's a massive advantage when you can throw somebody like Tariq Skubal game one against Framber Valdez. Because the pressure will then be on the Astros if they can go ahead and win with their ace. AJ Hinch did come out and say today that it's Tariq Skubal pitching tomorrow and pitching chaos the rest of the way. I think they might go with Reese Olson game 2 and then possibly a bullpen game in game 3, but that can get extremely tricky for the Astros because they just called up Tyler Horton, who was their number 1 pitching prospect a couple weeks ago. Lefty, throws gas. If you go ahead and use him in an opener to go and sit down Kyle Tucker, Yordan Alvarez 2 times through the lineup, that can be, that can win you a game right there. So I'm going to stick with my pick. I had the Astros not making the playoffs this year. Obviously, the Mariners shit down their legs. And that's on me, but I'm going to still go in with the same energy. I don't think that this Astros team will find a way to just beat destiny. Yordan Alvarez is hurt right now, and today's the first day that he's actually going to try to get some swings in and kind of run on the field. So they hope to have him, playing, but who knows there. So the pitching lines up pretty well for the Astros because you're looking at Framber Valdez game 1, and you're looking at a combination of Hunter Brown and Kikuchi, who's been lights out for them since they traded for him from the Blue Jays. But I just think that this Tigers team is going to find a way to stay in games and to just come through late.
Yeah, actually, I made a mistake too. By the way, the Astros won their division. That's my fault.
Yeah. They won their division and they
over Seattle. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were 4-2 this year against the Tigers. But obviously, that is before the
that's
Tigers.
What they went on the
we
run.
know now.
Yeah,
right.
Mikey, I want because I'm with you because I think about what the Tigers have managed to piece together and make the postseason, and AJ Hinch is a wizard, and that bullpen it's full of a bunch of guys that nobody really knows, but then you all like don't they Kenta Maeda's in that bullpen, and he's got experience, and man, the Astros are just fucking inevitable, man. Like they've been to what 7 straight ALCSs?
7, 8, yeah, 7 in a row. Yeah.
They're fucking inevitable. And
similar to the Chiefs, how we were talking about. This is not a year that they're overall like the best, where you can't throw some doubts.
Grammer has been having the yips at certain points throughout the season too. I listen. Again, I'm trying to talk myself into the Tigers because obviously I've been high on Scooble all season, but man, the Astros are inevitable. The Astros are inevitable.
Maybe I'm just a hater, but I'm picking the Astros, and this is why, because I think the Astros are going to win Game 1. His last 16 starts, Framber Valdez is 10-2 with a 2.19 ERA. I think I understand Screwball has been lights out. He's been amazing. Triple Crown. I talked about. Michael, you mentioned that he's the first Verlander in 2011. In 2011, Justin Verlander was like, it was fun watching him pitch. And Screwball's been the same way all season. But I think, again, like you said, that old veteran team, bro, they're going to come and remind you that, this is where it gets a little tighter. The situations are a little different. We know Detroit is going to be excited. They're happy to get in. And they are, I believe, 7-3 in their last 10. But no, I'm going to go with the team with the experience. I'm going to go with the Astros.
For what it's worth, though, I would like to see the Tigers. In a dream world,
I wouldn't.
I would.
Yeah. But no, to Mikey's point, not even on no hate, because I don't want to sound like too much of a hater. To Mikey's point, he's done an amazing job managing that club, especially with that bullpen. Like you said, there's a bunch of no-name guys that most people haven't heard of, but they really come in and shut shit down. And the way he uses them has been amazing. So to hear him, damn it, like the fucking Joker say, well, it's just gonna be my ace and then pitching chaos. That's a guy I can trust him when he says that, because I know he knows how to pull those strings and makes the right move. So it's going to be, I think it'll be a good 3 game. It'll go to full 3 games, but I think the Astros are going to take Game 1 and that'll propel them to winning the series.
I think both favorites here probably will win this series, the Orioles and the Astros, even though I have no AL Central hate against these teams at the current moment. But I do love watching Bobby Witt play baseball. I think he's a great young player. I think what he's done this year has been pretty impressive. I'm kind of with what Mikey said. I think the Orioles learned from their playoffs last year, learned the mistakes of being in the playoffs for the first time in years. And I think they're going to take advantage of that. I think it's going to be a raucous crowd out there in Baltimore. I think they're ready. I think their rotation is ready. And I don't think the Royals are there yet. I think that they will be soon, but I think that the Orioles are going to be able to win this one. As far as Astros and the Tigers, like you said, Courtney, like Orlando said in the chat, the Astros are inevitable. But every now and then the bully guy get knocked out. And I believe one thing about baseball is kind of like hockey a little bit, kind of like NFL a little bit, where it's the hot team, you kind of got to throw all them stats out the window, man. And I think they're a well-coached team, well-managed team. You got AJ Hinch going back to Houston. I think that's a good storyline. I like the role that the Tigers on, and I'm going to take the Tigers in the upset. Scott, I think they'll win.
Scott, to your point, what you said, there's always just like that one kind of random hot team. There's always that one random hot pitcher, right? Like a couple years ago, it was like Ryan Presley for the Astros. And I can't say random because obviously the guy's been, in a position to win with the Astros for a while. Last year, it was Josh Sborz. Like, where the hell did that come from? I'm just curious to see who that guy is going to be this year and what team he's going to be on. I fear in my heart.
Might be Scooby.
No, that he's on the Padres. And it makes me physically nauseous because they got some dogs in that bullpen, and I'm afraid of the Padres. I'm afraid of the Padres this postseason.
Perfect segue. with the NL matchups. Let's just go with the Padres. The Padres had a really good season. The Padres finished second in the NL West, but they took the Dodgers up to that final series, man. They finished 93-69. They will be playing the team that we just got done watching. That is the Atlanta Braves. And I feel like the Atlanta Braves on their last leg here. I'm gonna go to you, Courtney, because you said you were worried about, who's a hot pitcher.
Absolutely, I am.
Who's your pick and what you think about this series?
Sadly, I do fear that the Padres are gonna win this thing pretty handedly. Actually, I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna take more than 3 games. But no, the Padres scare me. I think that they could win the World Series, actually, and I hate to admit that.
That would be an amazing party over there in Gaslamp. Oh my God. That is one of the most drunkest places I've ever been in my life. When I went to San Diego, I think it was 3 years ago. It was kind of like when they started letting people back into games after the pandemic, and they've got I don't know if you've seen the liquor
some great bars over there. There's this one right outside the ballpark. First time in my life.
I went there.
You ever had a Miller High Life pony bottle? You know the little baby bottles of Miller High Life?
Yeah.
Man,
the one outside the
right
outside the ballpark. That's the one that finished me.
They take a little bit of the beer out. You put some amaretto in it. They flip it, and it's a Dr. Pepper shot. You chug the whole thing. Don't ask me how many I had.
Yeah, that finished me, and I found myself playing drunk. What's that shit called? The mine is a skit. Not with the fucking pool. Yeah, I was drunk playing pool at another establishment that night. That's how crazy it was. But Mikey, what you think about this series?
I think the Padres are gonna go ahead and handle business. Y'all can see here right now. I'm about to throw. Let's see if y'all can see that. I'm about to take them to win the World Series at plus 1200. I think they're built the right way. I think that they have starting pitching. They have a bullpen with some flamethrowers. I think the lineup is well balanced. You got Fernando Tatis back. You got Manny Machado. You got Jackson Merrill, who should be the NL Rookie of the Year. I know we love Paul Skeens, but it should be the everyday player. But I just think that he said I ain't going. But I do.
You're doing old school. You got to play everywhere. Oh my God, Mike. Where's his glove? He gotta have a glove.
He gotta have a glove. What is it? Just for me, as we look at the two teams that played today, the Mets and the Braves, the Mets were able to escape out of this 2-day doubleheader with only exhausting one arm in Taylor McGill. Didn't really fatigue much of their starters after the first game because they let people rest. They can go ahead and set up their lineup, their rotation the right way, whether you want to go Severino or Manaya, game 1 against the Brewers, and then, maybe come back with Quintana for a game 3 if necessary. Whereas the Braves are completely fucked. Like Dante said earlier, you kind of had a feeling something was wrong with Chris Sale because he hasn't pitched since September 19th. He's missed his last 3 starts. And it wasn't something about, just trying to have him ready for today. They scratched him today. They said he had back spasm yesterday. Listen, as somebody who's 35, Chris Sale is older than me. When your back is fucked up, your back is fucked up. Now they want to throw him on a plane.
Back spasms too. Woo!
Now you're going to throw him on a plane flying from Atlanta to the West Coast to then try to get him to – he's not going to be able to pitch tomorrow, probably. Who knows? And now you're looking at I can't say his last name, but they used the other Spencer today. And they had to use
what's his name?
Schwellenbacher, Rowan Gardner, whatever.
Schwellenbecker, yeah.
Schwellenbecker, yeah. It sounds like a nice German IPA.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, you get you a Schwellenbecker. 10% alcohol.
Get you a Polish and a Schwellenbecker.
Did you see that they're trying to bring Ian Anderson back out of the woodworks?
Yeah, I seen that. I mean, well, they're probably gonna have to now because if Chris Sale can't go, then there's no need to have him on the roster, for this round. And you're gonna need as many arms as you can, especially coming off of a doubleheader. So I do like the Padres in this one. I like how they're kind of lining up their rotation as well with Michael King. Going game 1, and they're kind of keeping their ace in the hole, Dylan Cease, available for a game 3. If not, he'll be ready to go game 1. Don't forget, they also, if they do have to go 3 and they win, then they'll be starting Game 1 against the Dodgers with Yu Darvish. So they have plenty of aces in the hole. Offensively, I think they'll have no problem. I've been saying it all year. This Braves team offensively is not the Braves team of the last few years. So yeah, I'm gonna ride with the Padres in that one.
Chavez Ravine Doc Rivers is insane.
I mean, it's very spot
That's
on.
crazy.
It's very spot on.
That's a great analogy.
Again, I told y'all earlier when the season started, I said I think Dave Roberts has one more year. Yeah, he gets one more season.
Yeah, Magic Johnson don't like
him fired. I think it's because Ohtani didn't pitch. There's a lot of pitching injuries on that team.
There's a lot. There's so many pitching.
They're gonna win the World Series. It's not.
There's too many pitching injuries for this team for it to all fall on Dave Roberts. I can see if he made some issues, but like
that's a good point.
80% of their starting rotation is down.
Yeah. Like their rotation right now is gonna have a dude named Landon Knack in it.
Yeah, that's bad. And Buddy beat his girl, so the one pitcher the other pitcher he did have fucked it up.
We'll get into our favorites breakdown. We do the DS's. Dante, what you got in this Padres?
Man, I hate the fact that Chris Sale is having back issues because he had an amazing season. Like he's probably gonna win the NL Cy Young. He was spectacular and really held this team together after you lose Spencer, after you lose Acuna. Austin Riley's been in and out of the lineup. So it sucks, but they are running into the wrong team at the wrong time because I'm with Courtney. I think the Padres are one of those teams that are really built to really go on a run. Like you could easily look up and see them in the NLCS. And I wouldn't be shocked if they went to the World Series. So I think this Padres team is really good. And, of course, because God likes to punish me, I think I'm going to see Dylan Cease pitching in the World Series this year. So, yeah. Write that down.
Well, what was matchup that they go play the Dodgers? Dylan Cease starts, and Michael Kopech pitches a couple shutdown innings. We're going to be ready to play in 4 or 5.
We do this every playoffs, though. Like, we can bring the list out every year, bro.
And some breaking news right now. Nobody died. But
I thought we was going 3 for 3 today.
It did come out. Snicker just said Chris Sale is not expected to be available in the wild card series.
That stinks.
Hey, but give me a game 3, Ronaldo Lopez, Dylan Cease matchup. In the year that the White Sox set the record for the most losses. Give me that.
I am going to go with one of my favorite players in baseball, Manuel Arturo Machado, and the San Diego Padres. I think that crowd out there in San Diego is funny. That's the most fun ballpark I've ever been to. It is cracking up in there. That is an amazing baseball crowd. That's going to be lit. It's not going 3 games. They're going to clean sweep these dudes. I like them, and I think they got a chance to win it all, just like Courtney said. Final series, and then we're going to wrap this up. The Brewers, who, despite the fact that they lost their highly prized manager, they came in and they won their division. Won the NL Central 93-69. They will be hosting the hot New York Mets. We just saw one today. Big second half of the season for them. Puerto Rican legend Francisco Lindor has been killing at a great home run today. I'm gonna go, Mike. I see the hat. Are you rolling? Ready. Are you rolling with the Metropolitans in this series, or you think the Brewers gonna win?
Oh man, I would love to go with the Mets. I said earlier in the season, kind of like around like late July, August, I said the Mets will be this year's Diamondbacks team of last year. But man, it's just something about, it's something about the Brewers having the Mets number this year. Like I said, they went 5-1 against them. They don't have to travel. They didn't have to play a doubleheader today. I mean, you get Devin Williams back and, that airbender in the back of the bullpen. They got Joel Payamps, Jackson Churio. This was the year of Jackson. What's up with all these parents naming their kid Jackson this year? Jackson Holiday, Jackson Merrill, Jackson Churio. But man, like I really do want to go with the Mets, and I will take them for the sake of Francisco Lindor. Outside of Ohtani is my favorite player in the game right now. He literally put the team on his broken back today in that 9th inning. That was one of the best games that I've seen, not only this year, but in a very long time. And this is why you love baseball. This is why I always go back to baseball, Scott. Even if the White Sox are bad, whatever, I will always love this sport because you play 162 games of, throughout the year, and game 161 and game 162 mattered. So I'm gonna ride with the Mets. I think they find a way. I liked what I've seen out of Luis Severino this year. I think he had a really good bounce back year. And let's just hope that they can take the momentum, into Milwaukee up there. I don't want nobody from Milwaukee winning shit. I hated when the Bucks, won the championship. I don't want anybody from that state to do anything.
Only thing I like in Milwaukee is Giannis and Dame.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not a Giannis guy. I'm a Giannis
and that's
guy.
it. No. I fuck with Giannis. The other one, I know he's I'm not really a Dame time fan, but I'm gonna ride with the Mets. And it's gonna be a really good series. I think that one is probably guaranteed to go probably 3.
Dante, what you got in this one?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with the Brewers. I think the Brewers gonna be too much for the Mets. The Mets have been on a great run. It's a great story, especially after the season, because pretty much everybody punted on the Mets this year. We all said, it's salary dumps. Cohen's trying to, see what he has with his young guys, and then next year they're gonna spend some money trying to go get Juan Soto. Now you're in a situation where you can make yourself a much more appealing destination for Juan Soto if you can put together a playoff run. But no, I do think the Brewers are going to get it done. And I'm with Mikey. I don't like anything Milwaukee related, just state of Wisconsin. I do not like to step foot in it if I don't have to. But I think
the only good shit that Wisconsin has is thank you for blessing us with Culvers. But that's it.
Oh, that's from Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Butterburgers go hard.
They sell cheese curds. You couldn't pick up.
Well, okay, now that makes sense. That makes sense. But no, it is going to be funny though to see them win this series without Craig Counsell, because everybody tried to give him so much. They tried to give him so much of the credit.
The Phil Jackson treatment, boy.
No, yeah. And Pat Murphy did a hell of a job, and like I said, they just found a way. Willie Adames will definitely be, and we'll see his name in a couple months when they go ahead and they, when they give Ohtani that MVP award, we'll see that Willie Adames' name will be pretty high up there. He had a hell of a year. But they just found a way. They play baseball the right way. They have some speed. I know Sam Frelick got hurt going into right field on a catch over the weekend. Which was kind of, I know I seen kind of like on Brewers Twitter and reading through some publications that a lot of people were upset that he was even out there because of the fact that they had, wrapped up, the NL Central, and they were already, going to be in the playoffs. But he says he's ready. Now we'll see if he actually is on the roster. But he's a speed guy, plays really well in the outfield for them, and he could be a table setter.
Courtney, take us home on the baseball.
When's the last time that the Brewers won a playoff series? Like 2018, I want to say.
Been a minute.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, I do got to ride with the Brewers. I don't want to, but I got to ride with the Brewers. Simply because the Mets are, I don't know. I told y'all that was a sneaky team preseason. I said, you know what? The Mets are sneaky, but I feel like the Bucks got to stop somewhere, and I think it's now. So I'm going to take the Brewers in the series.
So cool. Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not